as for what avenues to explore, like I think we're just so we're at the stage of the game where one avenue might be leveraging the advantages and opportunities that arise from multipolarity. And that means, like, as America, which I kind of respectfully describe now as the globalist American empire, as the globalist empire, just it completely dissipates any moral authority that it has. And people say, why does that matter? It never, you don't really need moral authority. But the US, unlike other countries, uses kind of moral authority, or even the pretext of moral authority, as a mechanism to exercise its geopolitical interests. So the overt and conspicuous absence of moral authority is actually a big deal, in particular for the United States. I think it's also a big deal domestically, because I think, unlike some other types, like people, my understanding is in China, they want things to run well and they want there to be structure and order and authority. Whereas I think in the United States, more than other countries, we require at least the illusion of a free society. We require these illusions for things to function. And as the American regime moves from this illusory, pretty lie, persuasive model of control to this overt totalitarian model of control, I think that's also something it's very difficult to make that transition without a lot of disruption. And so I think as America decreases in its stature geopolitically, that creates interesting openings for things like what I said, like it's only a half a joke. Why doesn't China set up a big server farm to allow Americans to criticize and expose just what a joke their government is, what a joke their national security state is, and what a dysfunctional country it is generally? It's something that Americans want to talk about. And why would the Chinese have any problem with Americans being better able to mock and criticize their own corrupt, evil, clownish, and dysfunctional government?
That's the Darren Beattie I was looking for. I do love the way you write, sir. Sometimes I'm a little envious of your willingness and ability to go right up to the line and over it with your colorful terms. I do appreciate it. All right, that's a great subject. We could dig into that a little bit more, but let's move on a little bit. We've got a Mideast expert here, and Dave, and I'm throwing you just a curveball because we didn't talk about this in the pregame. What is going on with the Saudis, with Iran, with Biden, with digging up this assassination thing of the Washington Post reporter at this time? What can we expect in terms of changes in terms of the foreign policy approach to the Mideast? Are we looking at a 180? Are we giving Iran the bomb? What is happening there? And can you give us a little bit of color and maybe a little bit of a prediction?
Sure. I guess first to say that I agree wholeheartedly with Darren's statement in substance and also in tone. I'm big thumbs up there. So yeah, I mean, regarding the Middle East, we saw what I'm calling the kind of second act of the Khashoggi drama, just sort of taking shape this past weekend and early this week with the kind of politicized release of an intelligence community product, which was the late 2018 assessment that was delivered to Donald Trump, sort of blaming the assassination of Khashoggi on Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince MBS of Saudi Arabia. So there was actually a great piece in Tablet yesterday by Eli Lake, where he was interviewing the NSC staffer who had initially prepared. Not prepared, but who had asked for this document from the intelligence community, and finally, when she received it, it was so thin and empty of evidence, and just full of really flimsy conjecture. I mean, it was a page long that she even put a note to President Trump that said, no, this they're trying to manipulate you with this this piece of intelligence. So that is to say that there's a new offensive by the kind of Iran-philic Obama-Biden administration to sort of give some payback and attack the for lack of a better word, the pro-Trump folks in the Middle East, the pro-Trump anti-Iran alliance. It's predominantly Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. So that's what the new guys are doing. It was an effort to say, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, to put some pressure on the Saudis. Now there has been a big effort going on, not only in the administration but also in Congress, where it's kind of more robust, to convince the Saudis, or to pressure the Saudis to get rid of MBS, which is no less regime change than the kind of traditional American form of regime change, which is we tell you who your leaders are, and we do various things to undermine the leaders that we don't like. So that's what they're trying to do now in regards to MBS, which I think would be a kind of a real catastrophe, because clearly MBS is sort of the best thing to have happened to that region, along with MBZ, like let's say the best pro-America thing that has happened to that region in quite a long time. I think that no matter how hard they try, no matter how resentful the new Biden administration officials are about the Abraham Accords and sort of peace between the Israelis and the Sunnis in the Gulf, that is not going to be dislodged. They're going to try everything to try to tip the favor towards Iran once again, as they did for 8 years under Obama, but I think they will fail.
Darren, what do you think about that? I'm a little worried about this because I thought that progress in the Mideast under Trump was excellent. I appreciated the movement and I liked what I saw. I feel like it's all going to unravel and things are going to get worse now.
Yeah, I'm just not following it closely enough to really add to it, to be honest.
Honest as always, maybe to a fault. Even you can't even BS us for a little bit. Dude.
I mean, I could, but I can't. I can MBS you. How's that?
There you go. Will, do you have a reaction to that? Because I think this is something that's going to be really important for the neocon element. I mean, back to war and conflict. What's happening?
Well, I mean, it's sort of, we have this weird realignment where the neocons are now in the Democratic Party, and they're sort of, I guess, okay with the kind of weird, anti-Israel mood there now, which is, it's sort of a bizarre realignment there. In any event, I mean, I thought the Trump, one of the few, areas where you could say like the Trump policy was just excellent, was in terms of getting, helping facilitate these peace deals between Israel, Saudi Arabia, Morocco. I mean, you name it, getting them. Not Saudi Arabia, but Bahrain, UAE. These are really good accomplishments. I mean, it puts, because it sets the anchor. So it's so hard to reverse all those things. In a future administration, like they're peace deals. Why would you break up a peace deal? And I think I'm not happy with the Democrats who, I mean, they still follow Ben Rhodes, who seems to be, honestly, see foreign policy as more of a vehicle for personal vindication and self-development and self-actualization than it is like an actual field where people's lives really matter. I mean, the fact that he's so antagonistic and annoyed by the Abraham Accords it's to me it's like it's personal for these particular Obama foreign policy hands. Like the fact that Trump didn't do what they advised and then was proven right is like more than they can take. It just like undermines them personally. And so I guess I'm a little worried about their kind of vendetta as a result of that, and how they'll act. But in general, I hope and think that, a lot of the gains made in the Trump administration were cemented in these deals, and so will be very hard to dislodge.
Dave?
Yeah, I mean, here's why I think that they will not be able to dislodge these deals, because they're the kind of Obama-Biden instinct, or their the way they the way they see things. they're going to put pressure on these countries by giving, by giving things to Iran, which means that that the more they press forward to give Iran advantage, the more these countries will cling together, which is how they got together really in the first place. So I'm, the peace accords were, sure, Donald Trump can take credit for it, and he deserves it. Especially his team deserves a lot of credit for making it happen. But it didn't come out of nowhere. These peace deals were primarily a response to Obama policy favoring Iran for 8 years, and in that respect, they were inevitable. So I don't think they're going to dislodge it. It's not a peace agreement like Jimmy Carter was able to put together with the Israelis and the Egyptians, which is basically the Egyptians were bribed with money in order to come to the deal. And it was never really an authentic peace. It was like a cessation of official hostilities at the top. This is very different. I mean, you've had 130,000 Israelis in the time of COVID going to visit Dubai since last fall. Those are crazy numbers. Those are really crazy numbers, considering how locked down both of these countries have been under COVID, and that's just tourism. So what you're seeing now is really a revolution. I don't think anything is going to stop it. The other point that Will made, which was interesting, is I've been saying for a long time that at the end of the day, neocons don't care about Israel. This gets proven again and again. I don't know why this kind of myth is kind of still with us. But the point of the fact is they're more enamored with ideology than they are with any kind of strategic, or they're more enamored with the ideology than anything else. And it's just proven time and time again, from the Arab Spring to this, to 4 years of the most pro-Israel president ever in Donald Trump. So, of course, that didn't stop them from going after him. So that's another thing that we need, I think, to place in the dustbin of history.